welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hello. If you are one of my 2 followers, welcome back. Today's video is going to be a live ovulation test progression. I guess that's how you would say it. I'm gonna show you to when I hit my peak to the day after, so I can kind of explain when I ovulated and why I'm tracking my ovulation. If you have been keeping up with me, you know that we have been trying to conceive for quite a while, and I actually just did my first round of letrozole, so yeah, that's why I'm doing a line progression, so you can kind of keep up with me. And I know a lot of people aren't well informed about how to use OPKs, so that's what I'm going to show you, is kind of how I use them, what I use them for, and the brand I use. Okay, so I'm going to scoot in real quick. These are the OPKs that I use. They are from Mom Med. This is not sponsored. I have bought many of them myself. They did send me some a while back, and I posted about on Instagram, but once again, I bought this box by myself. It comes with 60 ovulation tests and 20 pregnancy tests, and mine's pretty empty. Let me show you what the actual ovulation test looks like. So this is what the little test looks like. This is the back, and it kind of explains to you how to use them. And what you do is, I'll open it for you. You basically open it and you take it out. It comes with a little strip that looks like this. And these are very different from pregnancy tests because with ovulation tests, you're almost always gonna get 2 lines. And 2 lines doesn't necessarily mean that it's positive. It actually doesn't mean it's positive at all. 2 lines just means that there is LH in your system, which typically there always is. In order for it to be positive, the test line needs to be darker than or as dark as the control line. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll show you when I show you my little paper. But basically what you do is you pee in a little cup, you dip it in, and then you let it sit for 5 minutes, and then you read it, and then you go from there. So yeah, let's hop in. I'm gonna zoom you in on my paper where I show you my ovulation test and kind of explain to you what I did or how it works, I guess, yeah. Okay guys, so here's how I track my ovulation. Basically what I did was I went on the computer and I typed out what month it was. This month is May/June 2020. Which round of letrozole I was on, which is the first round of letrozole, which cycle days I took letrozole, which was 5 through 9. And then I went ahead and typed out the date, CD, which stands for cycle day, DPO, which stands for days past ovulation, which I will be tracking my pregnancy test on this, the time I took the test, and whether it was positive or negative. So the first test I took was actually on 5/26, and on 5/26 I was feeling a little bit nauseous. I had a headache, so I went ahead and decided that maybe a week, it was about a week after my period, cycle day 12, so I decided to go ahead and start testing. That first test was negative, so I went ahead on the negative comment and put negative. And so the next day was 5/27. On 5/27, it was, if you zoom in, a little bit darker, but still a negative. On 5/28, I went ahead and took a test, and it was negative. But I wanted to go ahead and test again, as you can see, on PM, just because with the letrozole, I know it does help you ovulate, so I wanted to make sure I stayed on top of it so I didn't miss my LH surge. So on 5/28 at PM, I tested, and it was, once again, if you zoom in, darker. And then on 5/29 in the morning, I took a test, and I wrote almost with exclamation points because it was almost as dark as the control line. On 5/29 in the middle of the day, I took a test, and it was still almost as dark as the control line, so I considered that a negative. And here is what I'm talking about. On 5/29 at nighttime, I'm going to show you. It is as dark as the control line. So that is when you know that you have a positive OPK and you are going to ovulate soon. So 5:30, cycle day 16, I took a test and I wrote peak with 1 exclamation point because it is as dark, if not darker, than the control line. And then on 5:30 in the middle of the day, I wrote peak with 2 exclamation points because it is noticeably darker than the control line. So I knew that I was ovulating on this day. And then 5:31, I took a test and it was negative. I wanted to just make sure that my LH surge was down and that these truly were my positive tests. Okay, so I am in a little bit of a different background than I was before. So I wanted to talk about my actual test. So as you saw on 5:29, I got my first positive. 5:30 is when I peaked. And so basically what that means is when you get your positive OPK, a peak means 12, I believe they say 12 to 36 to 48 hours is when you're going to actually ovulate. And so that is when you want to baby dance, is what the kids are calling it these days. And so I went ahead and baby danced with my husband on those days and then the day after, just to make sure that there's little in there to have our best chance of conceiving. Basically, like I said, you always want to make sure that the control line is as dark or darker to know that you got a positive. Just because you have two lines, it does not mean a positive. It's super confusing. I don't know why the tests are made like that, but they are. And so, yeah, it's really easy to make one of these charts. I like to keep the charts just because it lets me stay organized and it lets me know how I'm doing and if I actually ovulated. And it gives me a chance to show my doctor, hey, these were the days we tried. These are the days that I got my positive. And it lets us kind of set a plan of action to know what to do next month if I still am unable to conceive. Was my first round of letrozole, and I do want to say this was the first time that I got an actual LH surge peak. In the previous months, I had always maybe gotten a positive. They were almost as dark as the control line, but weren't quite there, which my doctor said, hey, you're probably not ovulating. Or he also said, as you've seen in my other video, you probably have wimpy eggs and they're just not enough, if that makes sense. So yeah, if you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you are maybe taking letrozole and you want to see if I end up getting pregnant or you want to see my side effects, I do have a video with my side effects down below, and I will post a video with a live pregnancy test. If you want to keep up with me with all my daily struggles with trying to conceive, I post a lot on my Instagram. My Instagram is @BlakeAlex, and go ahead and check me out. If not, as always, have a great day. Stay tuned for my next video. We'll see how it goes. Thanks, guys. You said at least it was worth the try.